I'm Denise, and welcome back to Camping with Emmy. In today's video, I am going to show you how I transformed these old, outdated Formica countertops in our camper using a beautiful marble faux finish. I will be showing you step by step how I did this amazing transformation. So first of all, like I always do, I used my crud cutter and I cleaned all the surfaces. I cleaned the countertops, the tabletop, and the two little side tables that I have in the camper as well. Now I'd like to mention with the tabletop, I'm going to be doing a different type of finish on that, which we will get to later. So after I cleaned it really well, I sanded down the countertops, the table, and the two little side tables with the 330 grit sandpaper. And this just helps the paint to adhere better. And then after that, I took my tack cloth and I wiped everything down to get any remaining sawdust or residue off of the surfaces. Next, I used Rust-Oleum's epoxy paint on all of the surfaces in the kitchen area. And this worked really well. Now I did end up doing 3 coats, but I must say that this product covered so well, and it could be because my countertops weren't real dark to begin with, but it really did the job in 2. I just went ahead and put 3 on just to give it that extra little bit of durability. So I would like to mention though, as usual, when you're using an epoxy paint, you really want to wear a respirator. The fumes are strong and this does help protect you, and maybe some eyewear as well. Now, I will tell you, when I painted the bathroom, I used a Rust-Oleum tub and tile kit. That was very strong, and you definitely want to wear a respirator and goggles and gloves with that. And if you would like to see the transformation that I did in the bathroom, please subscribe to my channel so you can see that video as well as all of the other updates that we have done in the camper so far. This is what I used to put on the Rust-Oleum paint, just a little disposable tray. Now the roller head that I used a foam brush because I wanted to have a really smooth finish. And I think that if I would have used a roller head with a nap, it would have given it more of a rough texture. So I wanted the ultra smooth finish, so I went with foam. I used a very inexpensive paintbrush that you could get at any local hardware, and I put this on once a day for 3 days in a row. I let the coats dry 24 hours in between coats, but I don't think that you need to, because the directions on the can say that you can recoat within an hour. And what I did was I just took some plastic wrap and I covered my roller head and my brush so that I could use them the 3 days in a row without having to use all brand new stuff. And it worked great. I didn't have any problems with that. So, alrighty, now we are going to get started with the marbling on the countertops. countertops look like with 3 coats of the Rust-Oleum paint. This is the little side table in the main bedroom area. I think that they turned out really, really nice. Actually, they looked real good after the first coat. And I was originally only planning on doing 2 coats, but there was just here and there a few little spots that didn't quite cover the way I would have liked them to. So I went ahead and did 3 coats, and I'm very, very happy with the way that this came out. The finish is nice and smooth and light and bright. And of course I also painted the vent hood, and this was I don't know, it was kind of a very creamy color, and I wanted it to look white to match everything else, and boy did this really turn out nice. I mean, this just looks brand new. I still need to take the tape off, as you can see. Here are the supplies that I'm going to be using when creating the veining today on the countertops. Now, the first thing I did is I just took a piece of paper and I drew out my countertop, and it is not to scale, but I decided to do this so that I would have an idea of which way I wanted my veins to flow in and how many that I wanted. And the reason for that was when I did my my test strip, I found that my lines were kind of all over the place, and so I wanted it to be a little bit more cohesive. So I thought that creating a little graph would really help me. So next I have my little paint tray, and I am going to be using just some acrylic paint that I got from Michael's. I have a silver gray and I have a white to do a few little accents with. I have a spray bottle of water, and I have some paint brushes of varying sizes. These are the 2 brushes that I have that I'm going to be using to kind of spread the paint out a little bit once I get it sprayed down with water. And I'm not sure which of these is going to work best, so I'm going to try them both and then see which one works better. Here I would like to show you, this is my first attempt at the marble veining. I chose to do the little nightstand area in the main bedroom of the camper, just because this isn't something that's seen very regularly. So this was kind of like my practice piece, because it seems like with any project that you do, the more you do it, the better you get. So I didn't want to start with the main countertop in the kitchen, but this is how this turned out. And I think that it's not bad. Next, I'm going to paint this little side table here. I guess it's a little countertop next to the door that houses the radio. I'm going to do this one next before I do the big countertop, because I think I might need a little bit more practice. So here we go. I am going to use a little bit of a bigger brush to just start. Let's see here. I want to do some bigger areas, and what you do is you just do a really, really light touch, and you just kind of let the paint drag down. You kind of make some squiggly lines like this, and it works out good if you kind of do a little bit of a U shape. I think that works out really good. And you don't want it to sit too long before you take your brush. I'm using this brush here to just kind of feather it out a little bit so that it makes it look a little bit more natural. And I recommend that you do small sections at a time, because once this paint starts to dry, you really are not able to feather it out. So you just kind of want to do that right away. not happy with it, if you don't wait too long before it dries, you can go over it and wipe it off with a wet paper towel like this. And you just give it a little bit of a scrub and it'll come off. Now, one thing that I noticed about these countertops when I was working on them is that my spray bottle was shooting out way too much water. And what you need is a spray bottle that just gives you a really fine mist, because it was just washing everything away. This is the next day after I painted the veining on my countertop, the marble veining. And after coming back and looking at it the next day, I discovered that I really wanted to add some more depth to this, to make it look a little bit deeper and richer. And so what I'm going to do is, first of all, I found a spray bottle that didn't have hardly anything in it at home, inside the house, that I can use for a fine mist, which I think will work really well. And what I'm going to do is I am going to be adding some ghost veining to this countertop. And what that is that you put some veins in, and then when you spray it down, you wipe it off to where it's almost not visible at all. And I'm also going to add just a few dots here and there as well. And then when I'm done with that, I'm going to take this sponge and dip it into the white paint. And I'm just going to dab a little bit of white paint here and there along the areas where there is the gray veining. And I really think that this will help to give it much more depth. I hope you enjoyed today's video on the kitchen countertops makeover in the camper. I think that they turned out beautifully. I'm really happy with the faux marble finish, and I had a lot of fun doing this project. Each countertop looks a little bit different than the other one. The one in the bedroom, I did much finer veins, and I also added a little bit of darker color to it. And then with the other countertop over by the door that houses the radio, with that one, I chose to do much larger veining, and I also made that just a little bit more washed out. And so for the kitchen countertop here, I kind of chose to do a little bit of both with that one. And I also did more ghost veining with this one than I did the others, but I'm so pleased with the way that they turned out. Also, I love the vent hood, the way that that turned out. It truly looks like a brand new vent hood, even though it is original to this camper. And I'd also like to add that I still need to caulk around the sink. But the reason that I haven't done that yet is we will be installing a new faucet, and when we do that, then I'll go ahead and caulk around the sink. So I'd also like to talk about the polyurethane. I suggest that you put several coats of polyurethane on all of your countertops, and I'd say anywhere between 3 and 5 would probably be good. And I actually put 5 coats of polyurethane on mine. I just wanted to add that little bit of extra durability. So if you enjoyed today's video, hit the like button and leave us a comment below, and subscribe so you'll be notified of our next upcoming video. And as always, on behalf of Rick and Emmy and myself, thank you so much for watching, and have a great day.